I'm George Molos from Ecommerce Brokers, where we help people buy and sell millions of dollars worth of online businesses for the last 15 years. And in this video, we're going to give an update to our Flippa review video from last year for the new year 2026. We're going to tell you what has changed and how you as a buyer or a seller can take advantage of the platform. Now, we do this review every single year, but things have changed. So we want to give you a fresh idea of what using the platform is like for a buyer and a seller. Now, at Ecommerce Brokers, we've sold over $3.3 million worth of businesses just on Flippa. So we have a very good idea of what buying and selling on the platform actually looks like. And we are active users of the platform. My team is on the website every single day. So let's get into the review. First things first, what is Flippa.com? Flippa.com is an online business marketplace. They've reportedly done over $150 million worth of online business sales. In my many years of using the platform as a buyer and a seller, I have to say Flippa.com really specializes in sub 250K and sub 100K online businesses, specifically Shopify and Amazon. Now, the big advantage that Flippa has over some of its competitors is its age. It has collected a lot of data from buyers, from sellers. That's why I still use the Flippa reports at the end of every year to get an idea of what things are selling for, what multiples, what percentage of seller financing or earnouts. I think their data is really, really strong. And not just that, but it's over a long period of time. So one thing you'll see in reviews about Flippa is that over time, they've improved. Back in the day, it was quite difficult to get really vetted buyers and vetted sellers. But I have to say, as someone who's actually used the platform a lot, this has really improved over time. Now, we heard a lot about some of the negatives and the cons of Flippa in previous years, being that a lot of the buyers that might come in when you're selling a business from the platform are really just a lot of spam. Now, there is a lot more checks that go into place here. Now, to be honest, that still is only somewhat the case. There are still a lot of buyers who come through that might show some initial interest, but really fall off, and it leaves you to question, were they ever really interested? Were they really solid buy? Over the last 12 months, since our last review of Flippa, the UI and UX has improved somewhat. There haven't been massive changes in the way the website works, how it operates, but I have to say it is just as, if not a little bit better, as it was in the last few years. One thing that we always see from our clients, our buyers, and our sellers is that our communication is amazing. I think the communication with Flippa when selling or buying is also quite good. When you go onto the website as a buyer or as a seller, you'll be asked for different forms of information. And this is really a good thing. Sure, it's a bit annoying that you need to sign up, show your LinkedIn profile, show some proof of funds, all these different sorts of vetting measures, but that means the whole platform is a bit higher in quality than it used to be, because a lot of these measures weren't necessary before. Now, this is great when you're a seller, but it's even better when you're a buyer. You don't want to be interested in buying a business, come across a business you really like, that everything looks kosher, everything looks good, but then you find out it's all fake, it's all a scam. So these vetting measures, connecting Shopify, Google Analytics, really makes it more trustworthy as a platform. I really like that there are more vetting measures because of this, so this is really a big thumbs up from me in my review for 2026. Now, a lot of people ask me, what is your average sell time? Now, at our brokerage, it is quite fast. We're talking 30, 60, maximum of something like 90 days. At Flippa, you can expect to wait a little longer. I'm talking months and months. And at the end of the day, after the big push that might initially come from your new listing being on the platform, you don't see too much really come through. I've never had a listing do really well, get a lot of attention, and then quiet down, and then months and months or years later, then it sells. That doesn't really happen. If you're a seller on Flippa and you're asking, when should I hop on a call with a buyer? How do I know they're serious? Look, proof of funds is one of the first things you should be asking for. Maybe not for 100% of the cost or the valuation of the business, but you should be saying, hey, show me 50%. Show me that you're a serious buyer. Show me a loan approval letter if you're going to get a loan from the bank, or an SBA approval letter. You want to see something that gives them really substance to say, yes, this is a real buyer with real money, with real credit that can actually get the deal done. Unless you see that proof of funds, I would not hop on a call. The next step, of course, after a few calls, after getting an offering that you're happy with seller financing or earnout at different percentages, that's when you go and sign a letter of intent. That's when you do 30 or 60 days due diligence. And then you can sign an asset purchase agreement or sales agreement. Something that Flippa does reasonably well is that they will always have someone come in and help during the LOI process. So whether the seller or the buyer, whoever's on the other side of the transaction when you're on the platform, they'll be guided. If they don't have some guidance, Flippa will actually guide them. And that's a good thing. They might not know how to get a LOI template or a sales agreement, or they might not have a due diligence service, and the Flippa can help with their own internal due diligence service or internal escrow service. While I mentioned the due diligence service, let's dive into it a bit. Now, due diligence really is done by lawyers and accountants, and you might have a third person who might deal with the website side of things. Now, in my opinion, One of the strengths of Flippa is their due diligence service. Across the internet, there are a few companies that provide due diligence services. At the end of the day, a broker can't do that. That is something that needs to be done by a lawyer. Check the legal background, the legal status of the business. If they have any legal issues or copyright issues or trademark issues, whatever it might be, a lawyer will find that out. Then on the outside, you need to do financial due diligence. That's where an accountant comes in. And then you might also need to check the website itself, reviews, all these smaller, finer items. The good thing with Flippa is you can go in and depending on the size of the acquisition, there's due diligence service for you. My clients have actually used their due diligence service. It's all in one PDF. They're actually quite thorough. I have to say, they've done quite a good job with their due diligence service. So I would say, take a look at that. Even if you don't sell on Flippa, if you don't buy on Flippa, you can still use their due diligence service. So I do give my thumbs up to their due diligence service. Now, pricing changes, but on average, the lower end is 2-3K. USD. And although it's on the lower end of what you might pay for a due diligence report, it's quite thorough for what you get. It's not as detailed as getting an attorney themselves to go and do a background check. But you know what? For the price you pay, I have to say it's the best value on the market. I also have to say another service that I like that they have is their escrow service. To be honest, if you're buying something on Flippa or you're selling something on Flippa and you want to use an escrow service, you might as well use the Flippa service. It is marginally cheaper than escrow.com and you probably get some customer service on top of that for free, whereas you might not necessarily get that at escrow.com. So my final conclusion about Flippa.com, where do they sit in 2026? My review is that they are the best place to sell a business that's probably under 250K, including Shopify, including small agencies, including smaller content, SaaS, Amazon, etc. Best place to go for under 250K in terms of marketplaces. So with that being said, if you're looking to buy an online business, Flippa is definitely a place you should be keeping an eye on. It shouldn't be the only place you look, but you always should have an eye on that marketplace. That being said, if you're interested in buying or selling an online business and you're looking for some help along the process, you're looking for some help sourcing, here at Ecommerce Brokers, we have our buy-side service called Elite Acquirers. We have different levels of service for different sizes and different amounts of acquisitions. If you're just looking to buy one business over the next 3 to 6 months, bronze is for you, for example. Silver and gold are for people looking to buy multiple businesses. So if you're looking to buy one or even more businesses online, we can help you with that. Our Calendly link is in the description below, and our page with a bunch of testimonials from people that we've helped over many, many years is also in the link below. So we'd love to hop on a call with you. We can hop on a call within 24 hours. And if you're looking to sell a business, we of course help with that too. So go to the description below and book a call, and we'll see you in the next review.